Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm doing the blush tag. I saw Jessica Braun do that, so I'm going to use most of her questions and I'm going to add one of my own at the end. I did the same sort of video for my eyeshadow palettes, which was started by Samantha March and Allie Glines, so it's kind of the same concept, and I'll probably go through and do this for a lot of different categories in my collection, but I thought it would be fun to do blushes because you all know blushes are my favorite, so let's just get started because I have a lot to talk about. So the first category is most used, which if you've seen my Project Pan, of course now I can't open it. If you've seen my Project Pan, that would definitely be my Kosas 8th Muse. I've hit pan on the blush side and the highlighter side. I've had this for about a year, so this would also count as my oldest blush because I'm only doing blushes that I currently have in my collection, not older blushes or blushes that I've decluttered. So this is the one that I have used the most. I still have quite a bit of product in here, but I do hope to use it mostly up because it will be expiring pretty soon. It has a 6-month expiry because this is before they formulated to make everything vegan. So I do love this blush. It's a really great everyday blush, and I especially love this in the winter because it's a little bit more of a cool tone pink, which just looks really pretty on my skin and makes it look like a natural winter flush. So I love this blush. I don't think I would repurchase it right away, but maybe down the line if I miss it. But I've used this so much that it's kind of like, okay, I'm ready for something new. So this is my most used blush. My everyday blush would be the Tower 28 Beach Please Tinted Balm in the shade Magic Hour. You guys know like my favorite blush tone are like pinky shades, but I have all of my pinky blushes for questions later on. So for like my go-to, like I don't know what blush to wear to match my eyeshadow or just like an easy everyday blush, I go for this one. This is just like a rosy color and it's really pretty and it's not too warm, so it still goes with a lot of eyeshadow looks. I wear this a lot with my Natasha Denona Glam palette, and that is more cool toned, and I still think it matches. And I also think this is great for every day because of the packaging. For cream blushes, I just love compacts because I can just put my brush right into it and apply it. And I think it's the most practical packaging for every day, and it's the most practical shade that honestly could go with any eyeshadow look or any just look in general. So I think this would definitely be one of the blushes that I had if I could only choose to have a few in my collection, because I think this one just goes with so many different things. The formula is like nothing super fancy to me. I'm not super picky with my cream blushes, but it is a nice formula. It's a pretty standard cream blush formula. It's not going to blow your mind in my opinion, but it's also, I don't think many people will dislike this. So I do really enjoy this. It's a pretty standard cream blush and I love the shade. My most expensive blush is hands down my Hourglass blushes. Specifically, the one I have in the full size is the Hourglass at Night blush. This is a beautiful blush. I bought this because State of Kate showed swatches on her Instagram, and this is an identical shade to the original MAC Warm Soul blush. Mine has a lot of marbling in this. I say this in every video, but not as much of the color pigment and a lot more of the lightness in it, which is fine. I do need to play around with it more. I just think I have to build it up more than most people because I know a lot of people say this is super pigmented, which is great because it fits more skin tones, so you can use it if you have a darker skin tone. The one I have is definitely like great for lighter skin tones, so I can't go super overboard, but this is a beautiful, like, I don't know, just a nice warm fall, not berry, but like leaning warm berry-ish. So this is a beautiful blush, but I think it's like $40, which is pricey, but I did get it on sale and I do really love this blush. The formula of these Hourglass blushes are beautiful, especially with the marbling. It's just so finely milled. It doesn't look like powder on the skin at all, and I do really love this. I don't think I'll pick up another shade anytime soon just because I have so many blushes and I have a lot of powder blushes that I like or a lot of powder brushes that I want to try, but I am glad I picked this up. The next category is my most inexpensive blushes, and I don't have a lot of drugstore in my collection. I'm sure most of you know that if you are a subscriber of mine, but my most affordable blushes are the Glossier Cloud Paints. I think these are $14 or $18. I have 3 shades. I have the shade Dawn, which is a bright orangey color, Beam, which is a really pretty peachy, brighter color, and Storm, which is a deeper berry color. I love all of these. I haven't used Dawn yet, but I do love the formula of these. I've also had Puff and Dusk, I think I want to say. It's the more brownie one. I had those when this line first launched, and like these two shades weren't even part of the original line. I had those two for years and I did really love them. They were my first ever cream blushes and they're just so easy to apply. They're not finicky. They can go easily over powder without disrupting your makeup. You can apply them with your fingers, with a brush, and you can apply them on your eyelids, on your lips, just whatever. And they're just really easy to apply, and so I always recommend these as beginner cream blushes, but they are like kind of annoying to apply. What I just do is I either take what's on the lid, so as you can see, hopefully there is a little bit of product on the lid that I'll just take a stippling brush and go right on there, or I'll squeeze out the tiniest bit and take it with a stippling brush just because I don't like to pour it out on the back of my hand. You can also like dot it on your face if you are fine with that, but I do really love these and they are fairly affordable. I think if you buy two, you can get a discount on these, but I love the shades and I love the formula of these. Okay, so for the worth the hype category, I saw a lot of these videos that actually put these blushes in not worth the hype, but for me, they're definitely worth the hype, and it's the Cover FX Monochromatic Blush Duos. I have the shade Soft Peach, which is a lighter peachy color, and the shade Warm Honey, which I've been using a lot lately for fall. It's just a nice warm toned blush. So both of these are so beautiful. And these are pretty pigmented, which is why I think not everyone likes them, because I don't know, you just have to be careful when you go into them. You can't swirl your brush around a ton. I just tap it in a few times and then blend it out. And I don't know, I just think that they are worth the hype because even though they are pigmented, which isn't my favorite, they're so easy to blend out. The matte side isn't matte where it like sticks to my skin and it dries my skin out. It still blends out beautifully with a brush. I feel like a little bit of the product spreads out so evenly on the face, and I love how you can mix the shimmer and the matte side. I always mix them, and then sometimes I take a little bit of the shimmer in a few other places, and I just think those duos are beautiful. I also love these on the eye, especially because I can put the matte side in the crease and then the shimmer on the lid just for a really subtle eye look, and I love these. I wouldn't buy them on sale only because these always go half off on Ulta during the 21 Days of Beauty, but I love these both so much, and I definitely think they are worth the hype. For the category not worth the hype, I kind of struggled with this because I do love all of my blushes, and like I haven't decluttered them because I do enjoy them. So I don't really think these are not worth the hype, but they aren't my favorite blush formula in my collection, and it's the Nudies All Over Face color in the matte formula. I think these blend perfectly fine. And the colors are stunning. I don't support the brand right now, but like the colors are beautiful. I love the colors of the Nude Sticks blushes, and the formula of this is beautiful. It still blends out super easily. I'm wearing the shade Bareback on my cheeks today, and I actually really like this shade, and the formula blends out super nicely, but it's not a formula that stands out in my collection. Like, it's not one that I would run out to repurchase. I think the shade Sunkissed is a beautiful color, but there are other brands that have it, and it's just not my favorite formula. Like, I like it because it stays on my face really well, especially under a mask, because it is a matter formula, but I don't know, it's just not one that I'm super impressed by. I don't have anything that I can pinpoint as to why I don't enjoy it, but it's just not one that I'm super excited to use like some of the other blushes in my collection. Like, I'd much rather go for my Tower 28 Compact than these Nude Sticks ones, and then I have another Nude Sticks formula that I do really enjoy the formula of, and I think those are better than these ones. So I still think these are good blushes, and if you get them, I still think you'll enjoy them, and I still enjoy these blushes in my collection, but they're not super worth the hype to me just because they are really pricey for this. I don't know, I just like other formulas and other packaging better. The next is favorite from a favorite brand, and that would definitely have to be my M Cosmetics Rose Milk. I love the brand. I don't have that much for them, but I just love the aesthetics of the brand. I feel like all of their launches are super calculated, and I love the colors, and I love the packaging, I love the products, and I do really enjoy it. So this is the shade Rose Milk and their serum blushes. This isn't the most practical like packaging wise, but you gotta admit it is so beautiful. It is like a dropper, which a lot of the times people's break or it's just annoying to get out of. A lot of times just take my stipple brush and like run it on the outside of the serum dropper because it's just easier for me because I don't have to put it on the back of my hand. But this shade is so beautiful. It's kind of similar to this Tower 28 one, but the Rose Milk shade is a lot dewier, which I don't know if you guys know, but I don't really like my base to be dewy. I live in a really humid climate, and I feel like when my skin is really dewy, it's just gonna slide off my face. And I also just don't want to have to worry about my makeup wiping off on things during the day, like if I take a nap, if I touch my face or whatever. I don't want to have to feel like my makeup is gonna come off. So I will always set it with powder, so the dew isn't something that really shows up on my skin because I do set it, but it is really beautiful. This is like skincare in a bottle, but it's tinted, so it's a really unique formula. It's like a, I don't know, it's like a hyaluronic acid serum in its texture, which I think is super fun to feel on the back of your hand. And it makes for a really pretty blush on the cheeks because it just blends so seamlessly because it's so like almost water-like, but it's not oily, and it just sinks right into the skin. And I think especially like on a bare face, if you just want to do something really natural, this would look so beautiful. And I do really enjoy this formula, and I would 1000% pick up more of these. I thinking about maybe asking for more shades for Christmas or something, but love the formula, and I just love the packaging, and I love the brand. For best memory, this one was also a little bit tough because I don't associate my makeup with my memories. Like the most I can think of is like if my boyfriend bought me something for me, that would be the best memory, but I still don't want to be super like sentimental with objects, especially makeup that expires and I get rid of. But I would say my best memory is with the Fenty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blush. I have the shade Petal Poppin', and I think this is my best memory because I was just so excited to get this in the mail. I got this back when my collection was super small. The only cream blush I had was the Kosas one, and I was getting back into makeup. I got this in the Sephora VIB sale earlier this year, and it was right when quarantine hit, and I just was so excited for this launch, and I just remember waiting around for my package to arrive. This was so exciting when I got this. All I wanted to do was post about it. I love the shade on me, and I just was so excited for this. And this was in one of my very first videos on this channel, or at least very first makeup videos on this channel. And I don't know, it was just a super exciting time of my life of starting the channel, and just, I don't know, just having something to look forward to during quarantine. So this isn't a super old blush, and obviously my collection has grown a ton since this, which was like in March. But this one, I don't know, I was just so excited, and I treasured this so much, and I still really love this. So that's my best memory. For most underrated, this one I also struggled with because I feel like everyone is into cream blushes right now. So like at least 5 people I know on Instagram have these blushes, but I chose the Patrick Ta Double Take Cream and Powder Blush in the shade She's That Girl, really all the shades. But this is a beautiful blush. It is a beautiful component, rose gold packaging. I love his packaging, and it has a cream and a powder, which I feel like is the perfect combination, especially with a small makeup collection. If you just want like a really minimal makeup collection, this compact has everything you need. These go together if you want to set the cream blush with the powder, if you just want to use one of them. I just think that this is a beautiful concept and so well done. And the formula of these are beautiful. The blush, the powder one, is super finely milled, but it still is pigmented. It is more pigmented than his original powder blushes because I know a lot of people complained about this. This does have more pigment in it, so if you're worried about that, then that has been fixed in this. And I just think it glides on the skin beautifully, and it doesn't go overboard, if that makes sense. And the cream is so beautiful. It's almost like a sheerer formula, but still pigmented. I don't know how to explain it, but when you put it on the cheeks, it just looks like your skin, and it has a little bit of a glow, but it still doesn't feel tacky or annoying or anything. It's just a beautiful formula. I know some people complain that the shade She's So LA doesn't last long on them. I don't have that problem, but specifically the shade She's That Girl, I feel like not many people have this shade, and this is my perfect blush shade. Like, this is the same shade as Fenty Petal Poppin', and both of those shades are my perfect blush shade. If I could only wear one for the rest of my life, it is this pinky blush shade. And I know a lot of you on Instagram, I asked like what makeup product reminds me of you. No, what makeup product do you associate with me? And like all of you said pink blush. So this is like my perfect pink blush. So if you are looking for one of my favorites to like pick up and try, either the Fenty or the Patrick Ta one. I know the Fenty one is cheaper, but this one you get a 2-in-1, and it doesn't look like they're similar in the pan, but these shades go perfectly together. And more people need to try this because I feel like Not a lot of YouTubers especially talk about these Patrick Ta blushes, and there's only 4 shades, but they're all beautiful and very well done, and I would totally be happy if I had all 4 shades in my collection. For the next is most overrated, which I'm not going to talk about because again, I just put my nude sticks matte ones. I already talked about that. But next is my most colorful blush, which is, I don't know, like I guess I'll talk about like my colorful ones. So I have like 3, but the one that I put for this question was the M Cosmetics Serum Blush in the shade Little Lilac, because to me it's not the brightest blush, but it is the most colorful compared to blushes, because a lot of blushes are like pinky, rosy, browny, just like that kind of color, and this is a purple, which I was so excited for this because I was worried it would look weird on my skin because it's a purple blush. But if you know me, which I don't know if many of you know this, but purple is my favorite color of all time. And just seeing this blush makes me so happy because I just love the color and it makes me happy to have it in my collection and wear it. And I actually think that this blush looks so beautiful on my skin. It just, like, I don't like it when it's super pigmented, but just put on the skin, it just looks like a really natural blush. I think during the winter time, this will be beautiful because, I mean, purples are a little bit more cool toned, but this is such a beautiful color and beautiful formula, and it is my most colorful blush. But just quickly, like my other colorful ones are Nude Sticks Tiger Lily Queen, which is a bright pink, Tower 28 Happy Hour, which is a brighter, like, hot pink, and then Glossier Dawn. So those are other colorful ones, but I think the M Cosmetics ones fits best for that. And then the question that I added in here was like my seasonal blush category, just because I think, I don't know, it's fun to have different blushes that I think go with each season, because I do associate some of these blushes with each season. So I will try and have a powder and a cream for each of these, but I've already talked about all of these formulas, I believe. So not going to talk super long about this, but these are my top favorite blushes for each season as of right now. So first is summer, and for that, I don't have a powder blush. I don't know, I don't have a super bright powder blush right now. I don't have a ton of powders. If you haven't noticed, I have a lot of creams, but my 2 summer ones are Glossier Dawn, which I talked about just a second ago, but this is like a really pretty, like, sunburny shade, like a sunburn right before it turns into a tan. Like, that's how Samantha Ravindell describes it, and I do agree. I think these kind of shades are really pretty, especially during the summer, because it is a brighter orange. And then the other one that I chose is the Tower 28 Beach Please in Happy Hour. I also just showed this, but I just think like neon-y, not neon-y, but just bright summery colors are so perfect for summer because everything is brighter, it's sunny outside, and I just think these are really pretty summery colors. I think especially most of the Tower 28 blush line is super summery because their whole theme of their brand is summer. And I can't wait to wear this in the summer with like this on my cheeks, like a popsicle stained lip, just a whole vibe. For fall, if you saw my recent video on my fall hero products, you would have already known this, but I chose the shade She's So LA from Patrick Ta. Do I even need to explain how perfect this is for fall? It's the perfect brownie blush. It doesn't look like a sunburn. It doesn't look like a sun kiss type of thing, but it's like the perfect combination while still being like a wintry flush. It's the perfect transition to a winter flush from a super sunny, almost sunburned, sun-kissed blush. So I don't know, this just is so pretty and it goes so well with all of your fall makeup looks, especially your fall eyeshadow. I feel like this goes with literally everything. The cream is beautiful. The powder I don't use as much, but again, this formula is gorgeous, and I think a lot of people have heard about the shade because this is the most popular from the line, and I do agree that this is so beautiful. And that is a cream and a powder, but I thought I would throw in Cover FX Warm Honey because this is another one in the fall that I've been wearing a ton. Just a more rosy version of the Patrick Ta one, but still a really pretty warm toned blush. Okay, next is winter, and my favorite, probably like top 3 blushes from my collection, and especially my favorite winter blush, is the Glossier Cloud Paint in Storm. I was scared to try a blush of this tone, but Khaki Reviews Beauty on YouTube always talks about like the Nordic child running for the fjords, and I was like, okay, I'll try it because I trust her opinion. Y'all, get a berry blush in your life, even if your light skin tone, dark skin tone, whatever it is, this type of blush shade is gorgeous. If you're like a light skin tone like me, this sort of shade when it's sheared out on the cheeks looks like a cold flush, like you're out in the wind or you're out in the cold and your cheeks just get really cold and super flush, and it's just so beautiful. It's almost like a rosy brown. I don't know how to describe it other than you need to try a berry tone blush because it is so beautiful. I love the formula, but especially this shade. Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. And mixed with Glossier Beam, these make the most perfect rosy everyday color. So this is one of my favorite blushes of all time, and if you're scared of a berry blush, just go for it. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but if you do, you're welcome for your new favorite blush. And then for the powder for this, I decided to throw in my Hourglass Ambient Light, my Holiday Quad, and the blush is the shade Mood Flush. This is just like a more cool toned color. It's like a cool toned pink, but it's not a traditional cool tone like the Kosas one. But I just really love this shade. I've been loving this quad in general. I'm wearing this on top of the Nude Sticks Bareback, and I think they go together really well. I think Bareback is another beautiful winter color because it's a little bit more light, but this is a beautiful powder, especially for the winter or the holidays, and I love this quad. I have a whole video on it, but beautiful blush. And then to round out with this video with two of my favorite blush tones ever, and some of my most used because I use these so much when I first got them. First for cream is Nude Sticks Sweet Peach Peony. It's a beautiful blush without being too bright, like a more summery shade, but still bright enough that it reminds you of like spring flowers. It's like an Eastery shade. The shade is gorgeous. I think it's kind of similar to Glossier Beam. This one is a little bit brighter, but both of these give the similar vibes depending on which one you want to try. This Nude Sticks one is in the Bloom formula, which is a little bit more dewy. And I don't think it's dewy where it's like greasy or anything super dewy. It's not like the M Cosmetics ones. It's pretty similar to like the Fenty formula, but I do think the Bloom formula makes it a little bit easier to blend out, and it's a little more flattering on my skin. And then the powder that I chose for this is of course my Cover FX Soft Peach Blush. I use this so much because it is the most perfect peachy blush. I love this so much. I use this all year round, but especially in the spring and early summer. This is just goes with all of your springtime looks, and I love this blush so much. I highly recommend it. Maybe waiting for the Ulta sale in the spring. I don't know when they have their sales, but these do go on 50% off, but I would highly recommend them. So I feel like I've talked your guys' ears off on all my blushes, and I know I did do a video earlier this year like swatching and ranking all my blushes, but obviously I have grown a collection, and I think this way of talking about my collection is a little bit more fun. So I still have bronzers to talk about for like my collection series that I was doing. So let me know if you want me to do a ranking style or the more tag style where I talk about different categories. So let me know what you guys like to see, but let me know your favorite blush of all time, either single blush or a cream and a powder. Just let me know your favorite blush of all time, and if you can't pick one, name a few or tell me your favorite blush tone. Mine is definitely pinky blushes if you don't know already. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!